Hey guys, this is what you're looking at, and today we got the review of the S&T Tavor 21 Explorer. Hope you enjoy the video. Okay guys, when you buy the S&T Tavor 21, you're going to get the bare essentials. One, you're going to get your instruction manual, which also gives you your 60-day warranty from the distributor, Spartan Imports. Two, you're going to get a 300-round M4 metal high-cap magazine. So far, works really good. And three, of course, the gun. But just in case you want to look at the box, you just got your standard graphic right there on the front. And it's a completely plain box with egg carton style packaging on the inside. Okay guys, let's get on to the gun though. Okay guys, for my first impressions of the S&T Tavor, as I said, first impressions, I was really amazed. One, the fact that this gun is really light. I have to say this gun's probably even lighter than most of your standard combat machines out there. So on top of it being really light, it's a bullpup gun. So you know, a big part of the weight's going to be in the back. So this is probably an ideal running gun type gun, because when you run, it only takes one hand, and you know on your M4s and AKs, your pistol grip is more back here, so it kind of makes it harder to run with the gun in one hand if you're holding it by the grip. I love holding my gun by the grip, that way when I'm done running, I can come up and shoot. So I really like that about the gun. Two, even though everything on this body is plastic, the tan part, which is just the main body, I like the feel of it. It's really cheap, but it's got that texture to it. And also the body, as you'll see when I zoom in here, your body is mainly just two pieces of plastic. As you can see, this humongous seam goes all the way down the gun's top and the bottom. And the whole body itself is just held in by a few screws distributed throughout the body itself. The second part of the body is what I'm just going to call the upper receiver, which is basically going to be this piece and then the rail. It's two different pieces. The front piece right here is very flimsy. As you see, it's flexible. I'm not sure what to think of it. I don't like the fact that I can bend it in, but you know, maybe if you drop it, since it does have a lot of give to it, maybe it's not going to, you know, completely shatter. But I'm not going to sit here and test that theory. And then the second piece is, you know, the second whole piece, this is just one piece, and it has a decent amount of wobble to it. It is your rail, it is your rear sight, and then there's this weird piece right here and here that I have no idea what they are. This whole piece though is held together by two screws, one in the front of the rail and then one here in the back of this whole main piece. I gotta say, I don't like the fact that the rail is plastic, but you know, it's gonna work. It's a sport line gun. You can't expect best of quality when it comes to externals on these guns. Moving on to the sights of the Tavor itself, I have to admit these are probably the worst iron sights I have ever seen on an airsoft gun. Your front sight is pretty much just it's just a point on top of on the sight itself, it's just one point. And then the rear sight is probably the smallest hole. As you can see, you can barely see it up here, and the only way you'll really even be able to see completely through that hole is if you're aiming at something maybe 150 feet away. So I don't like the sights at all. Of course though, we do have the rail up here. Moving on to our selector switch, it is non-ambidextrous. On the left side though, this is where the actual selector switch is. And on the right side of the gun, you have an indicator that actually moves with the selector switch. So I guess you could say it's kind of ambidextrous and kind of not. When you are holding the gun right-handed though, it's only really easy to put it in semi, because you gotta kind of push it over just a little bit more. But I find that with these bullpup guns, it's easy just to bring up your left thumb for your selector switch. So I guess, you know, that's something that's fixed for the fact that it is a bullpup gun, but left-handed users might not find it as comfortable. Moving back to our magazine welt, and magazine release, as you see, it is like an AUG, where the button's in front of the magazine, so it is fairly easy to take it out. It is ambidextrous, since it is located on the bottom side of the gun. The mag itself is just your standard 300 round high cap, nothing special. It feeds just like it should, at least most of the time, and you get the standard wear as you see on the magazine, and this is probably after putting the mag in and out of the gun maybe 50 times. So that's minimal wear, but as long as the mag works, that's all we need. One cool feature that was included on this gun, you know, for being a $159 gun, and that price, $159, is on airsoftstation.com. That's who sent me this gun for review. You pull back the bolt, which is located on the left side of the gun, if you haven't seen it yet. You pull that back, the bolt goes back forward, or your charging handle goes back forward, but your bolt stays back. This reveals your hop up. I find that the hop up is, when you have it set for your shorter distances, this gun is dead on accurate. Anything within 120 feet, you'll have no problem hitting with this gun. But after that, when you go to adjust the hop up, just the slightest bit will make the BB from going like that to going like that. So the hop up is not the best hop up in the world. So you know, maybe this will be more of a CQB type gun, but you know, I see you having no problem at all taking it out in the field. Another thing having the bolt pull back revealed is the gearbox. This is pretty much just a standard gearbox, except for that the shell is made of polymer. So the shell itself is polymer, but as you see by the rest of the internals, they are metal. The cylinder's metal, standard gears, standard reversal latch, everything you need in here is standard. And this is wired to the front. As we flip the gun over, we see our handguard, and I'm pretty sure this is just like the Ares. I haven't personally owned or shot the Ares, so I wouldn't know. You'd push this button in, and the whole handguard goes off, revealing your Tamiya connector. Okay guys, as you see, I have my 7.4 1400 milliamp Gensace LiPo battery in here. This is just for demonstration purposes, but as you can see, this does not fit stick type batteries. All this can fit is your standard 8.4 small bricks or your 9.6 nunchucks. So I would tell you just to stick with that 8.4, as you know this gun does have that polymer gearbox, and if you want the gun to last you, I would say just run that standard 8.4 or a 7.4 LiPo in the gun. 7.4 LiPos will do no damage from my experience. But here we go, semi-auto test. Trigger response is pretty good, and the gun sounds pretty good. Go into full auto. And as you see, the fully auto rate of fire, I get roughly about 14.14, but as you can hear, that gearbox has kind of like a hiccup sound going on. To be honest, I don't know if that has to do with the reversal latch or the gears just turning after I'm done pulling the trigger. But one thing I can show you, you have probably seen this on NC Man's review, or Crazy NC Man's review of this gun, that the cylinder in fact moves, and it's not just the model he got. As you can see, I don't know if mine moves as much as his, but my cylinder does move in the gearbox. So that's not necessarily the best thing, because you want your gearbox to be tight, you want it to be snug, you want it to be shimmed right, you want the gearbox to be the best, you want it to be tuned the right way. That way you can do what you do best, is shooting people in the airsoft field. So I didn't like the fact that the cylinder moves like that, and that since this is a polymer gearbox and a Tavor style gearbox, I'm not sure as far as, you know, upgrades what you could do to it except the Ares gearbox. So the only thing I'd probably be able to tell you as far as gearbox is concerned is that if this gun was to break down in the first 2 months, you do have that warranty. So that's always a good thing. One more internal related topic I'd like to mention here. Tell me if you can hear this. That means that instead of your standard switch assembly in here, we do have a trigger switch like the saw uses. I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay guys, I almost forgot to show you the trays here. As you see, it says IWI Tavor, and then it says Israeli Weapons Industries. Pretty cool, you know, trades there, and then it says Tavor 21 5.56 millimeter. And then, you know, the kind of thing that ruins that part of the trays, it says Israeli right here, and then right above it, it says Made in China. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my review of the S&T Tavor 21. Overall, performance-wise, we're getting 14.14 rounds per second, or 850 rounds per minute, 335 to 340 FPS, making it a really consistent FPS on the chrono, and that's really good for either CQB or the field, as it meets the threshold for both. Overall though, I'm going to give the performance an 8 out of 10. Accuracy test, 50 and 100 feet, no problem hitting the target. At 150 feet, and since we do have those hop-up inconsistencies, we were forced to aim up a little bit. That way we could do that instead of adjusting the hop-up, that slight bit that tends just to make the BB overhop every shot. Okay guys, as far as the internal and the external ratings of this gun, I'm going to give it a combined 6 out of 10. The parts that make it great is the fact that it's a lightweight gun, and the fact that it's bullpup, it makes it very balanced. It makes this an ideal CQB gun. You still get that longer barrel for the shortness of the front of the gun, so it's easy to cut corners with this. And the front of the gun is, you know, it tends to be a lot lighter than the back of the gun, so it's easy to pull the gun up, it's easy to run with it in one hand, so, you know, ideal for you running gunner type players out there. The things that make it bad is the build quality. Keep in mind, this is the sport line. So, you know, we got the seams, you got all the seams, you got pretty much everything outside of this gun is plastic besides the metal and the outer barrel. Things to keep in mind. Overall, who would I recommend this for? For you beginner players, if you're looking for a gun to jump into the sport, something that would be unique out of everyone as you're a beginner, this gun is a really good way to go. It's only $159.99 on airsoftstation.com. Just remember, I would suggest you to buy .23 BBs for this and make sure you get a good battery to fit here in the front. I would suggest an 8.4 small. For you intermediate players, this is probably a really good gun for you, because that's pretty much going to put you in the field of, I have a couple of guns, but I want something new, I want to bulk up. You have either this or the Aries to choose from. If you're looking to spend half the price, just go ahead with this gun. It gives you, more money to buy things like mags and BBs. So that's always a good thing to do. And y'all intermediate players tend to take better care of the gun, so you'll know just to use the proper BBs and the right battery. So even with that polymer gearbox shell and the slight tolerances in the cylinder, you should be able to have this gun work for you for a pretty long time. And overall, for you expert players, if you just want to try something, if you already have Aries parts and you just want to make this gun shoot really fast, I'd say go for it. But besides that, I would just tell you expert players to go for the Aries, as this is more a beginner intermediate type gun. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed my review on the S&T Tavor 21. I've enjoyed shooting it. I love the feel, even though there's just a lot of flimsy and plastic parts on it. Okay guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. This has been a What You Looking At production. I'm out.